Before he died, my grandfather told me that there was 10 billion hidden in the house. Before I could ask where the money was, he was gone. In order to find the 10 billion, I turned the house upside down, but only found a broken wash basin. Just when I thought my grandfather must have tricked me, I suddenly discovered that I had accidentally thrown 5 mineral water bottles into the basin, which had now turned into 10. Seeing this, I thought I was seeing things, so I took out the 10 mineral water bottles and put one more in. A few seconds later, I watched as the mineral water bottles turned into 2. Now I understood that what I was looking at was not a wash basin, but a cornucopia. Just put one thing in, and it turns into 2. So without saying a word, I started throwing mineral water bottles into it like crazy. Until an hour later, I rode a tricycle, pulling hundreds of pounds of mineral water bottles to the recycling station, and got the first bucket of gold in my life. A total of 5,000. After returning home, I was happily counting the 5,000 yuan while calculating how to make money with the cornucopia. This was a bold idea that came to my mind, since this wash basin can replicate anything. Just throw money in and you're done. I did as I was told. I immediately threw the 5,000 yuan I had just earned into the wash basin. A few seconds later, miraculously, it really happened. The 5,000 I just made had turned into 10,000. Then I threw the 10,000 in. Yuan became 2万, 2万 became 4万, until it became 1.28 million. Looking at the mountain of money in front of me, my heart was overjoyed. From now on, I will be a rich man. What about Pony Ma, Ollie Ma, Bill Gates? They're all waiting for me to acquire them. But when I took the money in my hands and looked at it carefully, I suddenly noticed that the money I just copied and the original money, their serial numbers were identical. Even though this money is real, under normal circumstances, each bill has a unique serial number. If I deposit these bills with the same serial numbers into the bank, not only will I not become a billionaire, but I will be arrested and sent to prison. Looking at the more than 1 million bills that I had worked so hard to copy, which have now become worthless, I suddenly felt a pang of pain. If I want to get rich, then I have to copy something with the same specification that doesn't have a serial number. At this time, I suddenly thought of gold. So I decided to go buy some gold to try my hand. The next second, there was a loud knock on the door and shouting. Open the door, wondering, it's not good to pay back money. It's Black Tiger. I was shocked. Black Tiger is a scumbag in society. A year ago, I wanted to give the goddess a Pineapple 18 mobile phone. Because I didn't have the money, I went to Black Tiger and borrowed 10,000 yuan. At first we had a good deal, calculated at an interest rate of 1,000. But when I went to pay back the money a month later, with the money I earned from working part-time, I was told that the interest was 1,000 per day, and that I also had to pay a 30% handling fee. After a year, I was in debt for over 100,000. In order to pay off the debt, I was forced to drop out of school and work. And today was the day I was to repay the debt. Through the cat's eye, I saw that there were 3 people standing behind Black Tiger. I knew that if I didn't pay the debt today, I would inevitably be beaten up again. This was the door that Black Tiger kicked open. You brat, where's the money? If you don't pay back 200,000 today, you'll never get out of here alive. Behind Black Tiger, the thugs surrounded me. Black Tiger, I thought, shouldn't I owe you 160,000? I said these words with difficulty. 160,000. The 4 of us are here to collect. Each of us wants 10,000 yuan as a fee. Isn't that fair? I almost fainted when I heard this. Just as I was about to beg him to wait for the repayment, Black Tiger suddenly stared blankly at the living room sofa, only to see that was placed the cash I had just copied. Soon, Black Tiger came to his senses. Didn't you always say you had no money? What's that? I then remembered. I had just copied 1.8 million in cash, but the serial numbers were all the same. It can't be spent. Thinking this, I put on a charming expression. Brother Black Tiger, my father just sold the house. This money is from the sale of the house. Looking at the money, Black Tiger suddenly became a little jealous. He suddenly changed his tone and said, right, according to our contract, you are already 1 day late today, and 200,000 yuan is not enough. I will charge you an additional 50,000 yuan as a handling fee. Brother Tiger, you are triple lied to me. 50,000 yuan is not enough. Over the past year, you have taken care of my relatives and friends, and none of them would lend me money. Only you were willing to believe in me. In addition to the principal, I will consider this as a fee for your help, a total of 1.8 million yuan. And our debt is settled. What do you think? Is that true? Hai-Hu looked me over and thought, has this guy been made stupid by the slap I gave him? It's true, brother Hai-Hu. Jiangcheng is such a small place. How dare I lie to you? Hai-Hu thought that was indeed the case. So, he gave me a hearty slap on the shoulder and said, wandering around, I really didn't misjudge you. You're a man who knows how to repay a favor. In that case, I'll take the money as you say, and keep it for you at your IOU. Your debt is completely erased. After saying this, Black Tiger tore up the IOU in front of me. After hearing this, I sneered to myself, I don't need to borrow money from you. With this wash basin, the banks will have to borrow money from me in the future. You, Black Tiger, almost destroyed my family. Let you be happy for a while. I'll fix you when the time comes. In the end, Black Tiger took the money and left happily. But after Black Tiger left, I went to the gold shop with water bottle for 5,000 yuan and went to the gold shop. This gold shop is very small. There is only one salesperson. But fortunately, they support gold returns. However, when I went in, I was stopped by the salesperson at the counter. What are you doing here? This is not the place for you. You can't afford it even if you come. I froze for a moment. What? It's broad daylight. Why is the shop closed? But when I looked at the waitress, I suddenly realized it really is not a gathering of enemies. I also know the waitress in front of me. Her name is Zhou Yin. She is my college classmate and the best friend of the goddess I was desperately courting. It was she who told the goddess that I had bought my mobile on credit. When the goddess found out, she smashed the mobile I had given her on the spot. Those were the darkest days of my life. For the next 2 years, I was repaying the loan by borrowing money from here and there. In the end, when the family sold the old house, they still couldn't fill the hole. And this Zhou Yin, when the goddess smashed the mobile, he even stamped on it twice. So this measure, Xin Zhou Yin. I was reminded of the dark times back then, and my heart began to waver. But then I thought, I even have the cornucopia. What's there to be scared of? Thinking of this, my heart filled with confidence. But Zhou Yin didn't give me a chance to speak. In the end, when the family sold the old house, she directly pushed me out. Get out of here. Later, a big customer is coming to look at the jewelry. Don't let you lower the grade here. As soon as Zhou Yin finished speaking, a middle-aged man walked out from behind her. Zhou, what's going on? Yang Daytong is the owner of this jewelry store. Today he happened to come to settle an account and ran into this Mr. Yang. This beggar won't leave. I've asked him to go. Beggar? Yang Daytong snorted loudly and looked at me without saying a word. Yes, he is a beggar. Zhou Yin stood next to Yang Daytong, with someone backing her up. She looked a little flushed. He used to be my classmate. He had no money, but wanted to save face. He borrowed someone less money to buy my best friend a pineapple phone, but he couldn't pay it back. Everyone was making a scene at school, so he dropped out and went scavenging. He must be here to steal from us. I didn't even bother to refute this. I've long since seen through the coldness of the world. Now seeing Zhou Yin's face makes me angry. But Yang Daytong doesn't judge people as easily as Zhou Yin. After all, he's an old hand at this. There are surveillance cameras in Beijing these days. Robbing a gold shop is like looking for death. I didn't bother to respond to Zhou Yin. I casually pointed to a gold bar in the counter and said I wanted to buy that. Listen to me. I want to buy the gold bar. Zhou Yin couldn't help but sneer at me again. You're dying to save face and suffer. Haven't you learned your lesson yet? This is society. It's not school. Have you paid off your loan sharks yet? You want to buy a gold bar. This isn't iron. It's a few dollars a caddy. I was about to be driven crazy by Zhou Yin's voice. So I raised an eyebrow and asked boss Yang Daytong, are you going to do business or not? Yang Daytong also felt that Zhou Yin's attitude was a problem. If the other party really came to cause trouble, it would be fine. If it's a serious beer of gold bars, then my reputation will be at stake. Yang Daytong was about to speak, but Zhou Yin preempted him. You're not doing this for me, since we're old classmates. I'll spare you the embarrassment. Get lost. When Zhou Yin felt confident in her noble behavior, she directly pulled out a wad of money and placed it on the counter. I'll take this moment's gold bar. In cash. When the cash hit the counter, Zhou Yin was stunned for a few seconds. Where did this idiot get the money? The other day, Didn't someone in the classmate group bump into him picking up trash? The Taoist priest young Datong let out a sigh of relief. At first, he thought I was a big customer who kept his money hidden. But after seeing me pull out cash, he completely calmed down. After all, these days, who still uses cash? A colleague gave Zhou Ying a hard time, telling him to step aside. This is 999 gold, plated, 408 per gram, a very good financial product, 4,080 in total. Colleagues, we also support repurchase. Say. Young Datong took out the gold bar and gave it to me. This kind of financial product has no packaging. It's all hand-to-hand delivery. I was also very quick. I directly pointed out 4,100 yuan. To young Dabin, I broke the banknote counter once. After happily placing the order, I unintentionally glanced at Zhou Yi, who was standing there silently, and then started chatting with young Datong again. Mr. Young, you just said that you also support recycling here, right? Young Datong froze for a moment, and then nodded. He doesn't make much money from this kind of financial product. He just makes a difference in price, so he didn't take me seriously. That's right, but the repurchase price is the current gold price minus 10 yuan. Young man, you can also go to the bank to recycle it. This thing of mine has a certificate. I knew young Datong misunderstood what I meant, so I shook my head and said I'm not trying to sell the one in my hand. But I'm going to ask if you, Boss Young, will take gold. I have a bit of stock in my hands, but in the eyes of this businessman, young Datong, the number of gold bars and the amount of goods in stock were two different things. So he hurriedly asked, what did the young man say? How many dozens of caddies are there? Can you swallow me whole, Boss Young? After saying this, young Datong began to size me up. If you judged people by appearances, young Datong felt, he might agree with Zhou Ying's opinion. This is a delusional dreamer, who is daydreaming like a lunatic. Oh no, he's a baker. But I'm not at all daunted by his imposing manner, which made him feel that there was something about this young man. If it were 999 fine gold, I would recycle it at 350 per gram, and eat as much as I could. Young Datong didn't beat around the bush, or beat about the bush, and simply gave an offer. I just smiled when I heard it, and then got up and was about to leave. He's a cornucopia, and not bad. Young Datong eats the difference. But if he acts too casually, it will arouse suspicion, so he has to be stingy. Not to mention that the price of 999 pure gold is 480 yuan per gram. Young Datong is really being too harsh. Mr. Young, you're not being very cooperative this way. Let's do 360 next time. Let's do it next time, when we have the chance. 370, 375, no more. Happy cooperation, Mr. Young. My face, which had been frozen, instantly turned into a smile. I politely held up my hand. This young Datong is an old hand, but in the face of huge profits, he is more anxious than anyone. And I saw right through it. That's why I've been putting on airs. He doesn't mind a little extra money for his first pot of gold. Zhou Ying was feeling down at the counter when she saw young Datong and I chatting away. He came out from inside. Zhou, go register Mr. Liu. He'll be our diamond member from now on. Young Datong instructed Zhou Ying, as if it were a very normal thing. Zhou Ying froze for a moment. What did you say, boss? Is there a problem with the diamond membership? The diamond membership? Isn't it just for customers who spend 10 million yuan in the store? Zhou Ying's words were not finished when they were interrupted by young Datong. It's fine. Take a picture. Tomorrow, Mr. Liu and I will complete a big deal. This diamond membership card is my goodwill. After saying this, young Datong turned to me and said, Mr. Liu, don't look at this place as a bit small, but Hentong Gold Store is a member of the Shanghai Bathroom Association. This diamond membership card will make you eligible to participate in the annual exchange meeting of the Shanghai Bathroom Association. I was just about to refuse, thinking to myself that it's no use if he wants this thing. But then a harsh voice came. Boss, don't be fooled by this beggar. He can't possibly have that much gold. He's definitely lying to you about tomorrow's deal. I said, why did he come here? He just wants to trick you with that diamond membership card. This time don't mention me. Young Datong's face began to change from sunny to cloudy. He began to regret agreeing with Black Tiger at the table to let this little girl Chi come to the Golden Palace for an internship. She really doesn't know any rules. Luckily, I don't intend to argue with Zhou Ying. She just gave me a dismissive look. What do you know? Haha, You just keep playing the big shot. You're the original in this regard. Zhao Ying hugged her chest. She looked pleased with herself. This is society. It's not school. I think you haven't suffered enough. Who is Boss Yang? You tricked him and he doesn't even know how he died. Zhao Ying may not have any rules, but she's right about this. Young Datong was thinking the same thing. If I'm just teasing him. Then young Datong didn't say anything and just let it go, which further encouraged Zhao Ying's arrogance. Go on, brag. A beggar is a beggar and will never be respectable. You really made the right choice when Shayaya left, or else you would have ruined her too. Haha, you deserve it. I really wasn't going to bother with this crazy woman. As the old saying goes, make your fortune quietly. And she was just about true, but everyone has a breaking point. Zhao Ying just mentioned Shayaya. She was the goddess I had pursued so desperately. She was the goddess who had smashed the pineapple in front of her. She was the goddess who had made her despair and lose all motivation during her dark days. My breaking point is not this so-called goddess. It is the phrase deserve it. Are you so sure I can't produce gold and trade it with Boss Yang? I met Zhao Ying's gaze with a quivering brow. Zhao Ying was also truly stunned, thinking to herself, how is it that this beggar is not at all intimidated? You really won't learn unless you hit rock bottom. Look at me, no one else understands you, but I know you well. Unfortunately, this time, even if you put on a brave face, you can't pretend to be someone you're not. You're still the same despised clown, and you still have dozens of caddies of gold. Haha, if you had dozens of caddies of gold, I, Zhao Ying, would kneel and fill up the exchange for you. Gather information and then kneel and deliver the diamond card to you. In that case, I don't want this diamond membership card. As soon as I finished speaking, young Daitong stepped forward. Hey Mr. You, don't. This diamond card is a token of my sincerity. Don't you dare. I ignored young Daitong. Young Daitong is a businessman. When he didn't say anything, it was tantamount to a tacit acceptance of Zhao Ying's threat. No need, Mr. Yang. Your employee doesn't know the rules. I'll teach him. I rejected young Daitong's goodwill, and then turned to Zhao Ying and said, since you're Nizich, I'll help you. If tomorrow's deal is reached, you think I'm stupid. You only said the deal was done, but you didn't say how much the transaction volume was. Could it be that you're going to sell the gold bars you bought today to Boss Yang again, and counter that your 50 caddies? Tomorrow our transaction volume will reach this equivalent. What else do you have to say? I silenced Zhao Ying with one sentence. Zhao Ying wasn't really scared. He thought I was crazy. 50 caddies of gold, a transaction volume of tens of millions. This is a boast that reaches the heavens. He absolutely didn't believe I had the capital. Good, it's a deal. Tomorrow, if your transaction with Boss Yang reaches 25,000 kilograms, then I, Zhao Ying, will kneel down and apply for your diamond card for you. Young Daitong, who was standing by, did not stop this farce. Just now, when we were inside, he kept trying to trap me, but he didn't get anything out of me, so he was very angry with me. Just as Zhao Ying said, if I teased him for fun, then young Daitong would not let it go easily. He could still do something like break an arm or leg. It was a big job, but when I left the Henchong gold shop, it was young Daitong himself who saw me off. He even offered to give me a ride in his car, but I refused. 2,500 kilograms of gold is worth tens of millions of dollars. Who wouldn't be tempted? I was also gambling on this. Young Daitong is a businessman with a conscience. He hasn't been eaten by the dog. It doesn't matter if he makes a small profit. Just don't get any funny ideas. Just to be safe, I took several different taxis. After taking a long detour, I didn't go back to my shabby little house, but instead went to a hardware store. The replicas from the cornucopia are all identical. I don't want to bring dozens of pounds of identical gold bars to the exchange tomorrow, especially if they're the same as the ones I bought from young Daitong. That would arouse suspicion too easily. So when replicating the gold bars, I need to find a way to dissolve the gold. This is actually quite simple, either chemical corrosion or high temperature smelting. The former is unstable and prone to volatile toxic acids, so the latter naturally becomes my safest option. I went to the hardware store and bought a blowtorch and flux. After that, I went to the ceramics market. The melting point of gold is very high, up to 1,000 degrees. To be precise, 1046.43 degrees Celsius. So, after melting, Liquid gold cannot be stored in an ordinary container. The common practice in the industry is to use a dry pan. This thing is made of graphite. The melting point is about 3,800 degrees Celsius. It's pretty safe, and the ceramics market sells this stuff. After gathering all this, I returned home with a full line. I also bought a kitchen-grade electronic scale with precise measurements. Don't ask, it's just for weighing gold. Even if I hadn't eaten all day, I still didn't feel hungry. He was so excited that he felt like he was at the forefront of the times. After tonight, he will embark on a journey to become the richest man in the world. Carefully taking out the hidden treasure ball, I was full of anticipation. I threw in the gold bar I bought from Young Daytong into the bowl, just like frying beans in a pan. As soon as the gold bar was thrown in, it was like a pan of hot beans that popped outwards with a loud noise. Very quickly, a basin of gold bars was in front of me, and it was still moving upwards. I swear I have never seen so much gold in my life before. He began to regret that the electronic scale he bought was a bit small. With a maximum weight of only 20 kilograms, a basin of gold. I weighed it a total of 5 times before I finished. After final calculation, I was dumbfounded. I had neglected the density of gold and copied it too much at once. Don't look at the pot in front of you, but the actual weight reached 91,592 grams. What's the concept? I'm only 130 pounds. And 91,592 grams is 183 pounds. Oh, my goodness, I'm rich. This number made me sit on the ground with a thought. When he came to his senses, he took out his phone and calculated the market value of this gold. It was over 30 million yuan. I swallowed hard. I swear this is the last time I try. From now on, he is also a rich man, suppressing my excitement. I copied the liquefied gas canister used for the blowtorch. It's all in small bottles. So I need more graphite. The dry pan is also. I bought a 100 milliliter square dry pan. Don't look small, but 100 milliliters of liquid gold can weigh up to 1,932 grams. 3 for caddies. After copying all the tools, I neatly stacked 10 grams gold bars in the graphite container, and then turned on the blowtorch and directed it directly at it. I wasn't greedy. He roughly calculated that 15 graphite containers full after complete melting. This gold could weigh more than 50 caddies. All night long, after consuming hundreds of propane tanks, the gold bars in the graphite containers finally all turned into liquid. After the gold cooled, I got 15 pieces, each weighing about 3.8 caddies. Looking at the result in front of me, I felt for the first time in my life I had done something meaningful. This was much more meaningful than copying plastic bottles and selling them at the recycling center. He now began to imagine the gold entering the market, and himself counting the money. What market disruption? Guild? I don't think so. He felt he was contributing to the national gold reserve. After all this, I felt hungry, but he was single-mindedly focused on his future plans. After hastily improvising a meal, he fell asleep with the pile of gold in his arms. Early the next morning, I stuffed into the suitcase and boarded the express train to Prosperous Gold Shop. From the outside, he looked like a weary stranger, but the suitcase contained more than 10 million yuan worth of gold. Prosperous Gold Shop. Zhao Yin got up early today. He didn't want to come in early either, but Young Daytong said he needed to prepare for today's transaction, and even contacted the appraiser in advance. All of this seemed like a waste of effort to Zhao Yin. He doesn't think I can close the deal today, or even show up, son. While Young Daytong was chatting with the appraiser in the back office, he really wanted to go up and persuade Young Daytong not to wait. But thinking about his internship certificate, he gave up. In fact, when he worked at Hanchong Gold Store, Zhao Ying also thought about using his good looks to get ahead, but for some reason, Young Daytong wasn't interested in him at all, which was quite a blow to Zhao Ying. I've been waiting for a while and you haven't come over. Zhao Ying thought this bet was a sure win for him. It's only natural to think so. If I really had a few chance of caddies of gold, I wouldn't be here working as a fool and letting Young Daytong make a profit. It would be better to invest directly in a bank. Thinking about this, Zhao Ying took out her phone and opened the classmate group to prepare to advertise for me. Zhao Ying. Hi. Guess who I saw when I went to work yesterday? Zhang Bin. Could it be another rich playboy? Zhao Ying. No, I'm Mei Yi's ex-boyfriend. Zhang Bin. Yi's ex-boyfriend. Who? I don't remember. Zhang Yang, you don't mean me, do you? That guy is still alive. I thought he was dead. What a disgrace to Shanghai University. Zhang, that's right, it's him. He came to the jewelry store where I'm interning yesterday and said he had dozens of caddies of gold to sell and asked if our boss wanted it. Zhang Bin, I think he's crazy. Dozens of caddies of gold. I'm afraid he's never seen dozens of caddies of gold in his life. Why hasn't the crazy dog in Shuyang died yet? Let me know when he dies. Zhang Bin, the crazy dog you're talking about is still in our group. I'll help you report it. Zhou Ying, haha. Why are you like this? I'm sure he doesn't dare show up. Your boss is connected to both the black and white worlds. If he knows I'm teasing him, he'll beat the crazy dog to death. Zhang Bin is still envious of Ying Ying. She found such a good internship before graduating. I was sitting in the taxi when I suddenly felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. He's still using a knockoff phone from an unknown brand. But he has QQ and WeChat. But he blocked all those old classmates' groups. But there's a mechanism in QQ groups. Is that even if you block the message and someone else presses you will still receive it. Shall I receive the message? Zhang Bin pressed him in the classmate group. Out of curiosity, I cancelled the group message blocking. Soon, all the chat history just buffered out. After seeing their conversation, I parted, but didn't laugh out loud. Although he will soon have the capital to laugh out loud. But after all, they were once classmates. Seeing them fall over others, so bitterly mocking themselves, I still feel a little sad. But the sad one is not me, it's them. Thinking about this, I casually sent a 200 MB red envelope, but set a password to receive this red envelope. You must send the words "I'm mad dog." Zhang Bin hashes. This mad dog is alive. Zhang Yang, command. Zhang Yang, when mad dog, system message. Zhang Yang received the red envelope with the password I sent. System message. Zhang Yang withdrew a message. Zhang Bin, Zhang Yang, what's wrong with you? This mad dog's red envelope is probably only worth 1 cent. For 1 cent, you actually betrayed your noble soul. I am ashamed to dance with you. Zhou Ying, yes. Zhang Yang despises you. I'll tell you beggar you came out. Do you dare come again? Boss Yang and the appraiser are waiting for you. If you don't show up today, and Boss Yang wants to find you, I will definitely help him find you. Zhang Yang. I was careless. But there was really money in this crazy dog's red envelope. 200 yuan. I'm not lying to you. Wait, I'll take a screenshot. Zhang Yang sent an image, and the group exploded. Everyone who had been snooping was blown away. Holy shit, what's going on? I've turned over a new leaf. What do you mean, turned over a new leaf? He's just putting on S. I bet that's his monthly food budget. Brother Lan is awesome. Brother Lan, send another one. I'm running out of money for instant noodles. Zhou Ying, look, I told you he was putting on a brave face. He's too scared to speak. Big bet, if you're a man, come out. Do you dare come out or not? System message. I sent a password protected red envelope. System message. He sent a password protected red envelope. Zhang Yang, I'm mad dog. System message. Zhang Yang has claimed the password protected red envelope I sent. Zhang Yang, I'm mad dog. System message. Zhang Yang has claimed the password protected red envelope I sent. Zhang Yang, what the fuck? This dog is crazy. Tomorrow 200. Yesterday, Zhou Ying and I made a bet that if I struck a deal with their boss, then he would kneel down and issue me a membership card. I'll shoot a video for you guys later. After sending this message, I closed my phone because his destination was right in front of him. At the Hentong Gold store, the password protected red envelope in the group chat was just a minor incident. After all, as the saying goes, the lover sees beauty in everyone, and the mad dog sees only mad dogs. But there's one thing they didn't say. Around the 600 yuan was indeed his final worth. When he went to the hardware store in the ceramic market yesterday, he deposited the cash into his bank card, and now it's all gone. But the contents of the suitcase are a whole future. I strode into the Hentong Gold shop. At this time, Zhou Yinggang just looked up, and when he saw me, he was aghast and disoriented. Zhou Yinggang had just seen the message in the group, and was about to reply when I appeared. He thought he was dreaming, but when he saw the suitcase, Zhou Ying's heart still skipped a beat. Obviously, I didn't bring the suitcase to run away, and I wouldn't run away to Hentong Gold store. You really have the guts to come, beggar. Boss Yang has been waiting for you for a long time. You're finished. If it was like this sentence, it was as if Joey Yin couldn't help but said, so it stopped in time. Joey Yin just stood there inside the counter for a long time, until I smiled at him. Grabbed the knockoff and waved, "This beggar, can't wait to shoot a VLIG for you." After that, I coughed and shouted inside Boss Yang, "I'm here." Young Datong came to the store early this morning. He believed that I would come today. If he were to say why, he couldn't say for sure. If he had to say, it would be a feeling. He felt that I was different from others, so he found the channel overnight and contacted the chief appraiser of the Shanghai Bathroom Association. Lei Suhong was already elderly. His beard was white, and just has a name on the application roster. He came today only because of Young Datong. After all, it's just a relaxing job, this gold. It's so easy to distinguish between real and fake. The two of them drank tea in the back booth all morning. They even went to the bathroom twice. Young Datong overheard me from over here and couldn't wait to come out. He even looked a little agitated. A business deal of tens of millions, Young Datong has not been unable to negotiate. It's just that those people are either rich or powerful. But that's not the case with me. Young Datong couldn't read me and couldn't get a word out of him, so I paid extra attention to this deal. "Mr. Liu, you're here. I hope we have a good day of business." When he saw the suitcase in my hand, Young Datong knew it was a done deal. So he introduced me to Lei Suhong. Lei Suhong was a highly respected appraiser with the China Sea Bathroom Association. After that, Young Datong invited me to go backstage to make the deal. "Let's do it here, Mr. Young." I didn't say yes. Instead, I pointed to the 110 internet monitoring sign, and then to the camera, and then said, "Let's do the deal here. It'll protect both of us. This surveillance is connected to 110. Even if Young Datong has a backup, he can't get to me." I showed the necessary caution. Young Datong naturally understood, so Chen Zhaoying went and closed the glass door and hung up the out of business sign. "Mr. Liu, is this okay now?" I nodded. Young Datong then said, "Let's take a look at the goods first." Before that, I cautiously surveyed the situation once more. Lei Suhong, standing next to Young Datong, with kind eyes and a gentle expression, was the kind of person who could easily put people at ease. But the golden light in Lei Suhong's eyes seemed to emanate a sense of righteousness, and not the sense of a cunning person. As for the so-called Shanghai Bathhouse Association, I also looked it up online before coming here. The information I got was very sparse, and there was only an official website for sending out activities. Apart from that, there wasn't even any gossip news. It didn't seem to have any outstanding features, and there wasn't even anyone discussing it. But just as the less people talk about it, the bigger it is. If this was a fraudulent organization, then there would definitely be a lot of water on the internet to brag about their greatness. This thought made me feel a lot better. So I placed the suitcase directly on the glass counter. Bang! It was the sound of the suitcase hitting the glass counter heavily. This is shatterproof glass. Bullets can't break it. This amount of force is like scratching an edge. I didn't mean to drop it so heavily. Nearly 60 pounds of gold, plus the weight of the suitcase. He's just a weakling. Young Datong and Lei Suhong didn't think much of it. This only proves that there is indeed a considerable amount of fire inside. But Zhao Yin, who was standing nearby, was terrified. His heartbeat quickened considerably, and even his face began to flush. Zhao Yin didn't know what was wrong with him. It was as if he was witnessing something. He felt like he was finished. If I really brought that much gold, then Young Datong won't let him off. But now I'm also quite embarrassed, because he forgot the password. Last night he was so excited that as soon as the gold was thrown into the suitcase, he said a numerical password that was meaningful to him. But now he couldn't remember it at all. "Mr. Liu, open it." Young Datong looked at me. After this guy smashed the suitcase on the counter, he just stood there, motionless. This Boss Yang. "Well, I forgot the password. I remember that the password was a meaningful number. Let me think." As soon as I finished speaking, blackness began to spread across Young Datong's face. He felt that I was playing a joke on him. How could he forget the password for such an important matter? Lei Suhong, who was standing nearby, couldn't help but shake her head. When he heard Young Datong talk about this last night, he already didn't think it was reliable. How could a young man in ordinary clothes possibly have several tens of kgs of gold? He wouldn't have been so obvious, and wouldn't have carried it like that. But young Datong sincerely invited him to come, and he couldn't let his face drop. He never imagined that he was coming to see a joke. This young man is teasing young Datong. Young people nowadays. Impatiently, Su-hong kept shaking his head as he spoke, and then turned to me and said, "Young man, if there are just a few broken bricks and tiles in your suitcase, then just go and don't do it again next time. You met me today, otherwise, if Boss Young loses his temper, it won't be pretty." Having said that, if I really turned around and left, young Datong really wouldn't be able to act up on the spot. After all, Li Su-hong still has some reputation in the association. Young Datong invited him here today, not just to authenticate this batch of hard goods, but for another matter. Otherwise, an old hand like him wouldn't fall for a fake. And to say who was the happiest person at this time, it would naturally be Zhou Ying. Seeing that I was everywhere, Zhou Ying's heart was filled with joy. Didn't the beggar still talk back in the group? "Where's your gold?" And meaningful numbers. I think you're just bragging. It's just a broken box, but it's good that it's made of canvas. It's fine to find it and cut it open. Zhou Ying is talkative, but this is not a bad idea. Young Datong was about to speak, but I shook my head and said no. This box and I have an emotional connection. I can't just leave it there. Zhou Ying started laughing so hard she couldn't stop. You really made me laugh. And the box has an emotional connection with you. Why didn't you say that the gold has feelings for you, and you suddenly don't want to sell it? Afterwards, Zhou Ying said to young Datong in a show-off manner, "Boss, you see, I was right. He doesn't have any gold at all. Did he trick you? You've been tricked." Young Datong was full of black lines at this time, and glared at Zhou Ying fiercely. However, Zhou Ying was completely unaware that young Datong was about to kill. With the same gaze, he became more and more arrogant. "Beggar, I've already said you deserved it. Let me tell you, he never liked you in the first place. You're just one of the many dogs that lick his boots. He just sees you as a tool. You think that pineapple 18 is worth a lot of money? Haha." The day after he smashed it, Mr. They bought him another one, still with 512 gigabytes. Only a poor person like you would buy 64 gigabytes. Shame on you. Li Su-hong didn't like Zhou Ying's style and looked a little embarrassed. So she said to young Datong, "I'm a little tired today. Let's talk about that thing you mentioned later." After saying that, Li Su-hong glanced at me, who was still standing in the same place, and shook her head with a sigh. "Don't make things difficult for this young man. It's you who needs to improve your staff quality. After all, you are the face of the association. Do you understand?" In Li Su-hong's opinion, how could a young man not be passionate? It was inevitable that he would occasionally say a few big words. He was a person who had been there and could understand. Even better, why I had to put on a brave face when I heard Zhou Ying's boring lecture. But Zhou Ying was unhappy and thought, "What's wrong with me? I'm not the one putting on a brave face." Just as he was about to explain, he was met with a glare from young Datong. But in his heart, he felt extremely aggrieved and couldn't understand why Li Su-hong was defending me. He couldn't wait to see what I would get lectured about by young Datong. But Li Su-hong had spoken, and young Datong still had to maintain appearances. Quickly, he said, "Mr. Li, I'm sorry, I wasn't careful enough, and caused you to make a wasted trip." After saying that, young Datong turned to me, and his expression became much more severe. "Wow, do you really think this is a place for children's games? About what happened today, I couldn't let it go because of Mr. Li. But you have to give me an explanation. Who is young Datong? But the identity of a businessman is enough to make him devour people without spitting out the bones." Although he agreed to Li Su-hong on the surface, but after Li Su-hong left, young Datong could not let me go. He would not allow someone to play with him like this. And Zhou Ying began to get carried away again. He took out his phone and beamed. "Yes, Bagel, do you remember the password or not?" "Mr. I doesn't care about this. But you're ashamed of not giving our boss an explanation. How about this? Kneel down and apologize to our boss, and I'll make a vlog and post it in the group chat for everyone to see." Just as Zhou Ying was getting carried away, and young Datong had already lost patience and was fed up with me not saying a word, I suddenly remembered. Wait, I remember. I raised my hand and immediately reached out to unlock it. But Zhou Ying no longer believed that I had really brought the gold, and thought I was just stolen. 9,399 click. When the combination lock on the suitcase clicked open, Zhao Ying's face froze in a wild gray, and young Daichong's face next to him slowly began to turn red. I turned my head and gave Zhao Ying a crooked smile. Do you know why these numbers are so meaningful to me? This is the money for that phone. I paid a huge price for these 9,000 yuan. Now, hi, it's my turn to get a bath. After saying this, I took a deep breath and opened the box without the slightest hesitation. The box opened. There were 15 gold bars neatly stacked on top of the worn-out newspaper. Once there is a lot of hard goods like gold, it really does shine brightly. Who said only women like these shiny things? Men like them too. This is the most direct factor affecting wealth and power. Zhao Ying was dumbfounded. He never expected that I would actually have gold in my hands. At this moment, young Daitong gradually beamed with joy. After all this time, it was a false alarm. Lei Suhong's face also beamed with joy. He had not misjudged the person. And when I looked at Lei Suhong, I also held a look of gratitude. After all, Lei Suhong had just spoken up for him. Mr. Young, I'm sorry. I was just delayed for a moment, if that's okay. I want to finish the transaction quickly. I can't wait to get the diamond card from you. Although I said this to young Daichong, but it fell into Zhao Ying's ears, and he really knew what his fate was about to be, and he began to back out. But he knew, with young Daitong here, escape was impossible. How could young Daitong not understand what I meant? Everyone is vengeful, not to mention me. I had already laid down harsh words before. Where can I be kind? Mr. Liu, no problem. The transaction can proceed now. Young Daitong started to call out again Mr. Liu. He had previously called him by his first name. Then, young Daitong politely asked Lei Suhong to help authenticate the gold bars. But in fact, there was basically no need to authenticate them, because he had been in the trade for decades, and could tell whether they were real or not. Just by looking at the color, gold can be forged. Young Daitong was already 90% sure of the deal. But Lei Suhong went up and looked at each gold bar. One by one he first examined it, and then gently scratched it with his fingernail, leaving light scratches on the gold bar. Finally, Lei Suhong picked up a gold bar and threw it on the ground. Making a sound, the gold bar didn't even bounce. It was dead. It was stuck to the floor. These are the three most basic steps for identifying gold. Look at the color, feel the hardness, and listen for the sound. The molecules of gold are very stable. The higher the purity, the darker the color. And the lower the hardness, hard objects can leave marks. The same goes for listening for the sound. If this is fake, it will bounce when you throw it on the ground, and the sound will be different. After the appraisal was complete, Lei Suhong put the gold bars away. Daichong, there is nothing wrong with these goods. The purity also meets the standards. In my opinion, it is 999 fine gold. Just to be safe, you can have it measured again with a professional instrument. Lei Suhong was just being polite. How would young Daitong dare to really have it measured again with a professional instrument? Moreover, Lei Suhong is highly respected within the association. It's not for no reason that he is a professional. For many years, he never took off his. Even for the identification of gold, which is such a trivial matter, it is inspected one by one. After going through Mr. Lei's hands, Young was at ease. Afterwards, young Daitong looked at me, and my heart grew a little more curious. But I still followed the normal procedure, and asked Zhao Ying to go to the backstage and bring the electronic scale for professional weighing of precious metals. Mr. Liu, please wait. I will settle the bill for you after weighing here. When Zhao Ying went to the backstage to get the scale, young Daitong asked Lei Suhong to wait a moment, and then repeated what I had said. If Mr. Liu doesn't mind, can you tell me where Mr. Young got this batch of goods? Mr. Liu, don't get me wrong, Young just hasn't seen this kind of knowledge before. On the market, Liu Chongzi is just as I am not stupid. He interrupted young Daitong directly. Young Bao should ask the questions, you shouldn't ask. All I can say is that this is something left behind by my ancestors. If Boss Young is a straightforward person, in the future, in the precious metals business, I have experienced this. From yesterday to now, I have been reticent. He's not talking. With the cornucopia, you can infinitely replicate these things. As long as you want, you can completely become the richest person in the world. So he has a lot to say, but the more so, the more cautious he needs to be. Getting rich is great, but how many people have been killed by sudden wealth? My scalp tingles when I think about this. So he is seeking stability. in front of an old time like young Daytong, who is prone to suspicion. One more word is not one less. He knows the less he says. The more bizarre he appears, the more young Daytong will be unable to figure him out. And just taking a moderate position also made young Daytong, while being suspicious, feel more apprehensive. It was obvious that my plan had worked. When young Daytong heard me say that, his heart did. The 10 million yuan in inheritance is just pocket change. Not to mention that it is still a precious metal transaction. This is part of the circulation. It is not consumption. Young Daytong still doesn't take it seriously. But the problem is, I also showed that I didn't care at all. This is what made young Daytong apprehensive. Not to mention that I just said, in the future, all precious metal transactions can go through his channels. Then the benefits of the world of business. Who would not get along with the benefits? Thinking of this, young Daytong quickly said, "Okay, Mr. Liu, don't worry, I won't ask anything I shouldn't. As soon as I finish weighing it, I'll transfer the money to your account." In contrast, Zhou Yin had it not so easy. When he went to the back to get the scale, his legs were weakening. "Yesterday," he said, "I've never seen so much gold in my life." In fact, even when he came to work at the gold shop, Zhou Yin had never seen as much gold as just now. At this time, Zhou Yin was extremely ashamed and indignant. He was ashamed. He still had a trace of shame. He knew it was humiliating. His anger was shaking his last trace of shame. He was thinking, "Seeing me bring so much gold." Zhou Yin is shocked. Then he thinks, "This gold must be from an illegal source. Otherwise, I should go to the bank. Yes, that must be it. Where did that baker get so much gold? He must have stolen it, or robbed it. Otherwise, why would he have all this gold? Why would he think like that?" After thinking, Zhou Yin had an idea. Young Daytong would never help him. Young Daytong was a businessman who looked down on him. Zhou Yin felt that he could never get close to a big boss like young Daytong. But there was someone else who could. Zhou Yin secretly pondered, "Look at you, a beggar. And you shouldn't be so rich. I'll show you that having money is not the same as having power in front of society. No matter how rich you are, you have to bow down. What's more, 10 million is nothing in the eyes of the truly wealthy." "Zhou Yin, did you break your leg? You've been holding that scale for ages." Young Daytong, shouting from the front desk, interrupted Zhou Yin's reverie. He quickly snapped back to reality and returned to the front desk with the scale. Xu had been immersed in an imaginary reverie for far too long. He had completely ignored the fate that awaited him. What is it? The scale for weighing metals is very precise and requires several calibrations. After young Daytong personally adjusted it, the gold bricks were weighed in separate batches, and the final weight was 58.91 kgs, or 29,455 grams. When I saw this number, my heart was in turmoil. But I didn't show it. It was Zhou Yin, who, even though she was mentally prepared, couldn't stop herself from being shocked. "Mr. Liu, a total of 29,455 grams. According to the price we agreed on beforehand, it should be." Young Daytong repeatedly calculated with the calculator several times. Pushed the calculator in front of me. 11,045,625. I nodded, my face still without any expression, but took out a bank card from my bosom and threw it on the counter. "This is the card. I'm sorry to trouble you, Mr. Young. I hope we can have a more pleasant cooperation in the future." Young Daytong nodded repeatedly and directly opened his mobile phone and transferred a huge sum of money to my account. Young Daytong didn't care about this small amount of money, not to mention that he could earn more than 1 million from this transaction. In no time I received the account information. "Happy cooperation, Mr. Young. Happy cooperation." Mr. Liu, the true man, shook hands tightly. I was very excited at this time, but he couldn't show it like a never rich. Instead, he turned to Li Sihong and nodded slightly to show his thanks. Then young Daytong respectfully handed over his personal business card. "Mr. Liu, here is Young's contact information. If you need to deal with precious metals, or jade and other treasures in the future, just contact me. Although my store is small, but the entire Shanghai Jade Association can handle it." Young Daytong wasn't making a big deal out of it. 10 million is a small amount, but in his eyes, I was a big fish. I nodded here and turned my gaze to Zhou Yin. When I looked at her like that, Zhou Yin felt a chill run down her spine, and even her scalp began to tingle. Now I was a multimillionaire. He had personally witnessed the birth of this process. But Boss Young, I remember you saying that you would get me a diamond card made by your company. Is that right? Young Daichong quickly responded. That's right, Mr. Liu. We'll make the arrangements right away. After saying this, Young Daichong looked at Zhao Ying. Zhao, you remember what you promised Mr. Liu yesterday, right? Keep your word and do what you want. Zhao Ying would never forget. Now he really wanted to slap himself twice, because he was the one who blabbered and said the bet first. I'm not expensive. Not expensive. Now it's my turn to be excited. He sat on the sofa in the lounge area and looked at Zhao Yi with a light jump and took out his phone again. Yesterday, he said, it's not expensive anymore. I can't wait to shoot IVLNG for you. Mr. Yang, the quality of your employees here is indeed. This is tantamount to throwing the problem directly at Young Daichong and telling Zhao Ying to get on her knees and get me a membership card. This is nothing but a piece of cake for Young Daichong. He can't possibly offend me because of Zhao Ying. This is a big fish. There's plenty of water on its body. Zhao Ying, keep your promise to Mr. Liu. Don't bring Black Tiger into this. I don't even take him seriously. If you can't satisfy Mr. Liu today, then don't even think about graduating. I still have some connections with your school board. Zhao Ying knew the gravity of the situation when she came here to work. She knew that Young Daichong was no ordinary person. So she only used Black Tiger as a stepping stone. She wanted to come here to work part-time to hold the big fish Young Daichong. Unexpectedly, Young Daichong was not at all interested in her. Now, faced with Young Daichong's coercion, Zhao Ying knew that she could not resist, so she had to find the information collection form and pen. And bent her knees. The Diamond Card members of the Prosperous Gold Shop need to back up the information form first, and then copy the card's secret code. The card-making process was complicated. This resulted in Zhao Ying kneeling back and forth 5 or 6 times, even though her tears of humiliation had already dripped onto the information registration form. No one felt sorry for her. Su Hong had already been sent away by Young Daichong. I was happy to see this scene. Young Daichong is a businessman, ruthless and heartless, and wouldn't care what Zhao Ying was thinking. But was this really humiliating? Compared to what I had suffered, it was nothing. Sure, I don't feel like I did anything wrong. This is just Zhao Ying paying the price for her unstupid actions. It's like when I borrowed 10,000 yuan from Hei Hui and ended up with a haul of several 100,000 yuan. I didn't blame anyone. Although Hei Hui is to blame, I also pay the price. This is the price of being young and reckless without a brain. But now I've reached Nirvana. All the images were recorded in the video. Due to the video plugin that comes with QQ, you can only shoot for 9 seconds at a time. So in the meantime, I've been swamped with notifications. I sent a video. Classmate, holy shit. What's going on? Big news, classmate B, I really have the goods. Otherwise Zhao Ying wouldn't have cooperated with him. Classmate C, the elusive goddess is crying. Holy shit, this is a bit exciting. Classmate D, save it. Classmate E, you've gone too far. We're all in the same class. System message. I sent classmate E a private red envelope. System message, classmate E received the red envelope I sent. System message, classmate E has withdrawn a message. Classmate E, hey. Thanks, Lang. Lang, I didn't say anything just now. Classmate B, Lang, we actually miss you quite a bit. You shouldn't have dropped out at that time. Classmate D, yeah. At that time, everyone said they would crowdfund repayment for you. Lang. You shouldn't have left, Lang, classmate. Lang, the classmates all miss you. Zheng Yang, will you ever stop? Yinian, haven't you been good to you? You ungrateful bunch. System message. I sent a password-protected red envelope. Please enter the password. The kneeling position you led was so graceful. Receive Zhang Yang. The kneeling position you led was so graceful. Classmates ABC Day. Then there was another shower of red envelopes. While I was sending the video, I was also brushing up on the red envelopes. The upper limit for a single red envelope is only 200 yuan. It's a bit tiring. Leave it alone. In the meantime, I still sent out red envelopes worth a total of 10,000 yuan. The class group immediately went into a frenzy. Even the wind began to shift. Everyone began to speak out against Zhao Ying. So-called wallflower, although it is sad, but they are all sensible people. In this society, the rich are great. Plus, Zhao Ying said before, I'm selling dozens of pounds of gold. That's tens of millions, right? Then don't you hurry up and form. The video was posted. The red envelope was also sent. You can say you've had your fill. But there was one person who never spoiled. I went through the records for a long time, but I didn't see that person appear. This person is no one else. It is the source of his dark years. He's got us from college days. I don't know what's wrong with me. He wanted to prove that he was really rich. But when I think back, it's meaningless. Besides, the thought of that woman gives me the creeps, and I started to imagine what Zhao Ying had said. The goddess smashed the phone the next day. There was a new phone in front of him. Forget it. I'm destined to be the richest man in the world. Thinking about this, I felt relieved. Compared to women, wealth and power are the pinnacle that men pursue throughout their lives. I feel like I've been elevated. He wanted to thank the 2 years of dark years for making him see through so much. At that time, Zhao Ying also got the diamond card from the prosperous gold shop. Mr. Liu, your card. Zhao Ying knelt next to the coffee table and handed over the membership card with both hands. But I didn't even lift my hand. Until you, this is preparing me to reach out and grab you. There is indeed only an arm's length between the two. But I was holding my phone and recording this wonderful moment. Zhao Ying had never received such treatment before. But at the same time, she knew that young Dechong was staring at her, and could only submit to his will. Thinking of this, Zhao Ying crawled to me on her knees in humiliation, and once again handed over the membership card with both hands. Mr. Liu, your card. I saw joy, but also no desire to go further. He is not a pervert, and does not want to torture Zhao Ying. These little tricks are just appetizers. Besides, Zhao Ying is not someone who surrenders so easily. I could see it in his eyes. Keeping this woman might even bring more pleasure, especially when I heard that Zhao Ying and Black Tiger still knew each other. I became even more interested. So after sending the last video, I picked up my membership card and stood up and extended my hand to young Dechong. Mr. Young, it's been a pleasure doing business with you. We'll be in touch. When I said we'll be in touch, I deliberately winked. Young Dechong is a businessman. Although he was not clean in his early years, he has long since laundered his money over the years. Naturally, he likes clean money, so like all businessmen in pursuit of profit, he showered me with flattery and becoming of his status. Leaving the prosperous gold shop, I really didn't forget to take that suitcase with me when I left. I do have some feelings for this suitcase. My father bought it for me with his first paycheck from the construction side when I was a freshman in college. I brought the suitcase back to the small, broken-down house. I felt like I had moved into a new house. This is the old house that my parents left to him.